Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing a video on 5 daily wear pendants. For that I'm starting off with a slab of 0.6 centimeters in thickness. For all the 5 sets I'm going to be using just very basic cookie cutters to get the shape. This is a beginner friendly, especially if you're starting off with terracotta jewelry making. I think this video would be apt. You would be able to reduce the number of designs if you think it's too much, and tweak it to your own as you please. So if you see, just cookie cutters, basic symmetric shapes, and this is for the earring. The thickness of this particular slab is 0.3 centimeters. I am making all of them as all the 5 sets will have studs as earrings. But again, if you want to make them as drops, you can. In fact, if you're making them as hook drops, you can also increase the size, thereby giving you more room to create more designs. So if you see, I've just primarily used all the cookie cutters and created the shapes. I smoothen each and every piece, the sides, the edges, the front. I'm using my fettling knife for this. For the design aspect, now the design for these basically are, you can say, inspired, or you can say taken from my own set of designs that I had created just recently in the bead series. So in fact, I am going to be using 5 of those beads in order to assemble these 5 sets. So that's why you would see me doing designs that would typically go well with the bead. Usually we would create the pendant and then work on the bead, but this is kind of the other way around. So if you see, I've just used my fettling knife, a hollow brass pipe, which you can also use like a ballpoint pen refill, creating simple patterns over here. Like I said, if you do intend on making hook drops, you can also increase the size of these base pieces, thereby giving you more room to create a lot more designs. The Nichrome wire gauge that I'm using over here is 24. And there, that's pendant, the first pendant. For the second one, just using a cookie cutter to get a semicircular shape on the 4 sides. Using a short, rigid blade over here in order to create this kind of a design. This will turn eventually into a floral pattern, and you'll see how. In fact, when during the assembling phase, you will see exactly why I have chosen to do these designs. This one is just a hollow brass tube, and if you don't have something like that, you can also just use a ballpoint pen refill. It just works perfectly fine. A semicircular design on top, which kind of makes it look like a cute little flower. Using a Nichrome wire, gauge 24. And there, You have the second pendant also ready. The triangular one. Once again with my cookie cutter. These pendants are not too big and they are not too small either. So like I said, I think I've said this a bunch of times now, that if you are looking to improvise and probably make something a little more elaborate out of it, then probably making it a bit bigger than this might help. But because the theme of this is daily wear, casual pendants, I have particularly kept it at this size. I think some of you who have been very regular with with watching my bead series, I'm sure some of you would have already guessed what beads I'm going to be using, because the designs are actually replicated on the bead as well. I will link those videos in the description box. Both the how I made the bead as well as how I painted the beads, because I am going to be using a similar color combination even for painting the pendant and the studs. Just attaching a little ghungroo bead for this particular one at the base. There you go. This is also ready. This one I'm sure is a giveaway, because it's when I say giveaway, I mean I'm pretty sure. I think the design is a giveaway because as soon as I think some of you see it, I think you'll probably guess that it's the coffee bean kind of a bead that I'm going to be using for this one. So the design inspiration also comes from that. I'm using my needle tool to create this pattern. So this is just a stylus, a ball stylus tool. I never used to use this quite a bit, but off late I've started seeing that it gives me very neat, nice textures. I think it'll look beautiful. It looks beautiful even when it's done on a bead. Just repeating the same thing for the stud as well. Putting in a pair of Nichrome wire U-pin hooks. They are gauge 24, and there, this one's also ready for the last one. Using my fettling knife, creating a zigzag pattern. Once again, if you do not have something like this, you can also just use a ballpoint pen refill in order to create that kind of a design. A circular design is what I mean. A beautiful checkered pattern And again, I'm using my stylus tool in order to create a few dots. They just create really smooth, beautiful dotted designs, and I've really started liking that. Even for this, I'm putting in 2 hooks, Nichrome wire, gauge 24. So replicating this particular one on the stud as well. Like I said, if the earring was a bit bigger, maybe you can also elaborate a little bit more on the design. But like I said, I wanted to keep all of them as studs, which is why I left it at this particular size. So if you see, all the 5 pieces, all the 5 sets are ready. I give it a couple of days for this to dry, and once it's all dried, it's fired in an electric kiln. I'll also leave a video of how I get my work fired in the description box. Please don't forget to check that out. So if you see, it's all fired, beautiful, lighter in weight, and got a lovely color. I am going to be adding a couple of terracotta beads, basically 4 per set, round terracotta beads as well. So I'm going to be just using these 2 brushes, a 6 and a liner brush, that's it. Paints are going to be gold, a nice deep red, a green, blue, milky white, orange, burnt umber, which is a nice coffee brown, and black. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using. I start off with the first one, and this particular pendant, the base color is going to be retained as the terracotta color itself. So if you remember, there were a couple of beads that I had added in the bead series which were not fully painted. I made use of the beautiful terracotta color as the base, and then just painted a few highlights in colors. This is green. For designing, or rather adding all of the highlights, I am going to be using only my liner brush. It's only for painting the base or the background do I go for a slightly thicker brush. I'm just adding a little bit of a freestyle pattern on the just on the 2 corners, 2 opposite corners. And that's it, just leaving it at that. Repeating the same pattern on the stud as well, and this set is ready. For this particular one, the base coat of the entire piece is going to be black. The design is going to be done in blue and gold. Once again, I think when you start to see how these pieces are well painted, some of you might begin guessing what beads are going to be used for assembling these sets. So it's a beautiful blue, almost like a light blue. Maybe like a little bit of a sky blue mixed with just a little bit of dark blue, probably a hint of it. This is just directly gold. This is not antique gold. What I mean is, if I've just used the same paint. Typically what you would see me do is mix gold and black. I'm not doing that here. I'm just using directly gold as it is. This is that gorgeous matte red. I'm painting the ghungroo bead in gold. This one's going to be a combination of this beautiful red, orange, and gold. One of the reasons why I feel gold does look really nice here and apt here is because when I just started doing the orange, I thought that the color did not show up very well on this particular background, surprisingly. But yeah, I think when I did the gold, I think it made a lot of difference to the entire piece, and I'm glad I did that. So like I said, I'm going to be using 4 terracotta beads per set. So that's one of the things that you'll also see me do in parallel. Apart from the bead which comes in the bead series, I'm going to be using 4 terracotta round beads as well. This one's just burnt umber and gold. And even for this particular set, I will be using 4 gold beads along with the pair of designer beads. When I'm referring to designer beads, what I mean is the bead which was made as part of the bead series. A little bit of freestyle design. Yeah, I could have chosen to leave it plain as well, but I don't know, I just felt like the borders could have used a little more design, so hence I added this as well. All of this is done with the help of just the liner brush. Nothing else. In fact, if you saw in the beginning, I just shared 2 brushes. One is the 6 and the other one is the liner brush. And that's exactly what I've been using for painting all the 5 pieces. For this one as well, the base color is going to be the terracotta, the natural color of of the pendant. I'm not going to be painting that in anything else, just giving the highlights in these colors basically. Red, then orange. I'm also going to be using white for this one because the bead had this particular combination. One thing that while using, if you are planning to paint directly on clay, is that there's very less room for error, because what happens is if you end up making a little bit of a mistake, or if the paint does tend to go beyond the margins, it's very difficult to remove it unless you paint another color over it. So just being a little extra careful, making sure the paint doesn't seep through or just spread. I think white and gold and yellow would do a great job of highlighting the designs even more. Here I'm using white, but if you're not a fan of or if you don't want to use white, you can also use gold or yellow. And gold definitely will subdue it a little bit more. White definitely looks a little bit more brighter, and yellow also should look pretty bright. So if you see, all of the pieces are ready, all of the beads are also ready. I've painted them in matching colors. Time to varnish. This is the product I use. I give it a good shake and transfer a little bit of the contents into a bowl or a container. If you see, as soon as the varnish basically touches the terracotta, the natural terracotta color, the color just intensifies so beautifully, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm even leaving it that way. Every piece, every bead, everything will be individually varnished. I let this dry, and once all of these individual pieces are completely dry to touch, we can begin assembling them. So if you see, I have also now laid out the beads. So yep, the surprise is revealed. So these are the beads that I'm going to be using in order to assemble the pendants. I'm using E6000 for all of the studs to attach the stud post. I typically use a little bit of the glue on the stud post, and then I make sure I give it a good press. A lot of times this step is is overlooked, but to me this is a very necessary step to actually press down that stud hook. So this is a cord I'm going to be using, just a black nylon cord, 3 to 4 mm in thickness approximately, and this is just the standard way of putting the pieces, rather the beads together. I'm going to be following this particular method for all of the pendants. Just doing a simple knot so that the beads don't move. Now for the piece which has 2 hooks, I'm going to be using a slightly thinner cord, which is a 1.5 mm black nylon cord. So that's how I typically assemble this. I really like the way this particular piece has turned out. I have been a little partial to using the natural terracotta clay color. I've somehow always liked it, and I'm glad I've been able to use that more and more of late. So there you go. All of the pendants they just look so beautiful to me. So I'm going to be attaching these wooden beads at the end. You've seen me do this a bunch of times. This is the bead which is typically used to adjust the length of the piece, and I'm also going to be attaching tassels. I will link those videos as well in the description box. I have actually not recorded that part in this particular video because the video has already gone so long. So how I've attached or how I've created tassels, I will link those videos as well in the description box. Please don't forget to check that out. There are a bunch of videos that'll be listed in the description box, so please do take a look at it. And there, for this particular one as well, the bead is attached. So if you see, everything is ready, tassels, the stud post. For everything that I had a matching color tassel, I just, matching color thread, I just made a tassel out of it, and that's it. I really hope you all enjoyed watching this video. Been long, but I've been super happy with the way all of these pieces have turned out. I really hope you all enjoyed watching the video. Please do let me know what you think of the video in the comment section, and as always, I'll get back to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for watching.